this idea that, and if I'm paraphrasing, you can correct me if I've misstated this, but this idea that music is free, and that music is being disrespected now. And I think there is some of that. I think there are some people who are, sort of thumbing their nose at the content business and saying, well, shit, I'm going to grab it because I can. But my experience with most people is that they, music is, I think of it, when you're conceived and you're inside your mother's body, there's a pulse, there's a rhythm to things. And I think there's an inherent sort of tribal desire that is not going away. In fact, I would argue that music is permeates more of society than it ever has. And in a way that's a good thing, and in a way that's a bad thing, because it's so ubiquitous. I mean, this idea that, think about today, you can do 10 jingles in 5 hours today, right? And
in Nashville, you can do 20.
Yeah. So there's a lot of tension in that relationship. And yet, my experience is that when you connect the ear to the heart, you almost can't stop that. It's almost unstoppable. And when you see that sort of true performer like Stevie Wonder, who you've played with, there's something about a cat like that just is not. They only come along so often. And there's so much that they do, and I don't think that's going away. And so this tension between the plumbing and what's in the pipes is always there. And the thing that I think the content business is not missed, but I think they, the music business. If I put on my investor hat or my sort of cold-hearted business hat. The music business doesn't believe it has any responsibility in being easy to deal with. It just thinks that we ought to bow down and shit gold bricks for it, and it doesn't think about what it's like to work in a marketplace. And so when I sit with, quote-unquote important people in the music industry, and they rail and bitch and talk about legislation and litigation as a market tactic. Number one, it doesn't work. Number two, after, depending on whose Kool-Aid you're drinking, after 15 years of suing consumers, the problem's not going away. So then the question becomes, okay, assuming that those tactics don't work, what is our responsibility as an industry to become easier to deal with? And, let's not kid ourselves. I have friends, and I know some of you in the room have made money as songwriters or are connected to people who've made money as songwriters. I remember when the Leanne Rimes record came out, the first Leanne Rimes record came out, and Curb claimed 1 million promos and told the songwriters, we're not paying you. 6 million albums sold, 5 million paid. And the songwriters were faced with this dilemma of, are we going to bite the hand that feeds us, or are we going to stand up for ourselves? And a lot of those, and they ended up suing Curb and winning. But a lot of those guys' careers were over. So this high and mighty, we're doing the right thing for the music, for the artist, that's bullshit. It's a business, and a lot of those cats that run those businesses are really not that interested in doing the right thing. I've seen it over and over and over. So I do think content is still king. But I also think that this idea that everybody is going to be Stevie Wonder is a fallacy. Some people have audiences of 10. I would probably be one of those. Some people have audiences of 10 million. And that all comes back to the art. So when people ask me, well, what should I do? My answer is focus on the art, right? If you get the art right, everything else takes care of itself. It's undeniable